Over the many years students have been taking exams in schools, colleges and universities around the world, effective tips, tricks and techniques to help them study and do well in exams have evolved. In this video you will discover the ones we found to produce the best results for students of all ages. We will share tips with you about how to create a targeted revision plan, create a great set of notes, dealing with the inevitable stress you'll encounter, and effective exam technique. So let's have a look by creating a targeted revision plan. First of all, why would you do that? Well, there are a number of benefits to doing this. First of all, you'll get better organised when you have laid out ahead of time what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. This means you'll be able to stay more focused during your revision, which will be important for you to maximise your efforts. Whilst there will always be an inevitable last-minute rush in the days and hours before an exam, creating an effective revision plan will reduce the pressure on that time and will help you avoid overwhelm. A targeted revision plan will also help you achieve a healthy balance between the work you have to do and the activities necessary to keep your energy levels up and even keep you sane. The plan will also make you accountable by giving you a path to follow and a way of keeping track. So here are the 3 steps to creating a targeted revision plan. Step 1. Work out the number of days you have before the exam. Divide each up into morning, afternoon and evening chunks. Then check your schedule and block out those chunks where you know you'll be unable to revise. This might be because of family commitments or other events like visits that are already booked. Time where you have to be in school or college to attend lessons might also be blocked out. At this stage, it's also a good idea to block out at least a chunk a week to leave as spare. This will leave you with all of the available chunks of time that could be used for revision. Count up the number of chunks you have, and in this example, there are 59. Now in step 2, you look at your subjects and break them down into meaningful topic chunks. Ideally, you're looking to carve up your subject into chunks that will take approximately an hour for you to revise and study. Some chunks might need longer, others may take less time. So to create hour-long chunks of meaningful work, you may have to split up some of the larger topics or combine some of the smaller ones. In the 3rd step, we're now going to allocate those topics to the available chunks of time. You will remember from a previous step we had 59 chunks of time. Here you'll see we have 24 separate topics to revise. So we can allocate 2 chunks of time per topic, using up 48 chunks and still have some time to spare. The next thing to do is to allocate those topics to specific chunks of time. Here's just one way you could allocate them. Now in this example, the 2 days before the first exam are kept clear, as are the evenings of the previous week. If you have that luxury, then you could use it for even more revision or to give you a well-earned break by spending time with family or friends, having fun or just relaxing. It's important you don't block every minute of every day and allocate all that time to specific topics. This is because invariably things will crop up and interrupt your revision. Having time allocated as spare will help absorb the unexpected without putting you under any additional pressure. If you have any doubt about the importance or relevance of each topic, chat with your teachers or tutors and get some guidance from them. So now let's look about having a great set of notes. Now this might seem pretty obvious and common sense, but unless you have got all the relevant reference material together, you will find it very difficult to learn all that's necessary to pass your exams. But it is more than just having the notes. You also have to make sure they are organised in a way that allows you to quickly reference them. Incomplete, poorly organised notes will only hold you back, but it will also frustrate you. Put them in individual ring binders. Use dividers to break up each topic. Highlight key passages and use coloured pens to identify keywords and ideas. What you are doing here is, having captured the information, you are now consolidating it by organising it and making it easy to reference and look up. Now I'm sure you understand you don't need to learn and remember absolutely everything that's in your notes, so the next step is for you to condense them into a more manageable and easy to learn form. There are a number of ways you could do this that include writing out a summary of each topic, making a list of keywords and ideas, or using mind mapping. An important point to realise is when you go through your captured and consolidated reference notes to condense them, the process will help you learn them because you have to think about the information in a deep way in order to condense it, which will create a stronger link in your brain. Now, as you go through the term, if you go through this process repeatedly so that you capture your notes, you consolidate them into an easy to reference form and then condense them, you will keep on top of your subject and will start to lay the foundations of being able to remember and recall them. So now let's look at one of the biggest challenges you'll have to overcome as a student, and that's how to deal with stress. You're going to be under a considerable amount of pressure from your parents, from your teachers to do well, and you'll have your own drivers to succeed, as well as the volume of stuff you've got to absorb and process, and you've got to sit exams as well. So there is a high probability you will come under some degree of stress. So what is stress? Well, it comes from our hardwired survival instinct to protect us from marauding saber-toothed tigers back in the day when we roamed the savannah. Whenever we were threatened by such a beast, our heart rate would increase, our breathing would get faster, the adrenaline would begin to flow, our muscles would tense up, and the body would shut down functions it didn't need to run away in order to conserve energy for those it did require. This is known as our fight or flight reaction, and back then we'd run away, which would use up and dissipate all that pent-up energy. These days there are no saber-toothed tigers, but the threat you feel today from the pressure I've described elicits the same response as though there were a saber-toothed tiger chasing you. The trouble is, you don't have the opportunity to run away and dissipate that build-up, and the prolonged exposure to that pressure results in what we call stress. Whilst ongoing stress will have a huge physiological impact, the biggest challenge you will notice is a difficulty in thinking clearly and problems remembering, neither of which is good when you're trying to learn or, worse still, sit an important exam. So what can you do if you find yourself stressed? Well, the quickest way to dissipate the tension and stress and return yourself to a state of calm, where your thinking will be clearer and your memory restored, is through your breathing. Wherever you are, just close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, all the way down into the bottom of your lungs, pushing out your abdomen as you do. Pause for a second or two. Then breathe out, slowly forcing your abdomen in to expel all of the air. Then keep repeating, maintaining your focus on first your in-breath and then your out-breath. As you breathe out, imagine all the tension draining from your neck and your shoulders, and relax. So, that's how you can deal with stress, and you can apply that any time you feel that tension building up. So let's finally look at our top 10 tips for exquisite exam technique. Number 1, get hold of as many past papers as you possibly can and work through them to understand the type of questions and format of the exam. Number 2, make sure you know the time, date and location of the exam so you turn up at the right place on the right day. Number 3, make sure you have all the necessary equipment with you for your exam. Pens, pencils, spare pencils, calculator with fresh batteries of course, and anything else that you might need. Number 4, turn up in plenty of time to avoid adding unnecessary stress to an already pressured situation. Number 5, once in the exam, when told to start, read the exam paper instructions thoroughly to make sure you know exactly what you need to do and to discover how long you have to do it. Number 6, proportionately allocate time to each question according to the number of marks it will give you, and move on to the next question when your time for the one you're on is up. Number 7, as you work on each question, read the question thoroughly to make sure you understand exactly what is being asked of you, highlighting key information as you go, so when you go back you can find it easily. Number 8, if you find yourself struggling with an answer on a scrap of paper, jot down everything else you know about the subject and see what else that recall triggers. Ask yourself the question, if I did know the answer, what would it be, and see what comes up. Number 9, use all the time allocated for you for the exam to answer all the questions. Then check your answers to see if you can add any more that might give you any extra marks. And finally, number 10, if you find yourself getting stressed at all during the exam, simply focus on your breathing and take 10 slow, deep breaths, relaxing your body with each out breath. So there are some of the best study skills used by the best students to get the best results. There are many more you could try out, but if you start with just these handful of ideas and apply them to your revision, you will definitely be on the way to achieving even better results.